Hey there, movie fans. We are live today on Collider Videos for your consideration, otherwise known as Collider FYC. We have so much news to get to. We have a clip from our very first screening series that we did with our partners at Arclight Cinema, and then we are going to jump into our category of the day. Our show is so jam-packed. We are doing this live, and we are missing one of our panelists. As you can see, sitting next to me right here, we have the mighty Jeff Sneider, who is back from Thanksgiving and ready to party. Meanwhile, the amazing Perry Nemiroff is off. I know you're going to love this. Guess what she is doing? She is covering the junket. She is covering the junket today for Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. So you know what, Jeff? For that, she gets a pass.
Yeah, we won't cry for her. She's having fun with JJ.
This is the world's smallest violin because she is where we would much rather be. I know you would. That's what you want to know too. But meanwhile, let's just get right to it here because we do have a lot of stuff to get to. But before we even do that, we just want to once again thank our sponsor this year. Arclight Cinemas is our sponsor for Collider FYC, and this week we have 3 screenings. 2 of them have already passed. One is yet to come this coming Saturday at the Arclight in Hollywood for Rocket Man with director Dexter Fletcher, plus Taron Egerton, who plays Elton John, and Jamie Bell, who plays Bernie Taupin. That is going to be moderated by the amazing Perry Nemiroff at the Arclight in Hollywood. Tickets are still on sale, so make sure you check it out and go. And if you have not seen Rocket Man yet, the movie's been out since May, this is your chance to do it and meet the director and the 2 biggest stars of the film. Well, we have a lot of news to get to.
Yes, a lot of awards being given out by, I don't know, who are these people?
Well, I'll tell you who. Let's start with the National Board of Review, which announced their winners. And we're going to go through these kind of fast because we want to get to our picks for Best Supporting Actress.
Yes.
Okay, but the National Board of Review, for some strange reason, Jeff, everyone really cares about what the National Board of Review thinks. Why is that before we get into,
Because people need to justify their jobs, okay? So they need to talk about these precursor awards as if they matter. They don't matter at all.
But you know what? National Board of Review, I will say, because they're one of the first organizations to announce their winners, because they're first, that's why they get as much publicity as they do.
Yes.
And their pick for Best Picture, not a surprise, but I don't know if this really means anything, is The Irishman. So before we get to the other categories that they did pick, what do you think about
First of all, I don't know how National Board of Review votes, whether it's like they all decide something together and it's something that they all have to live with, or it's all like secret ballot and then whoever wins. What do I think of these awards? I don't think Adam Sandler's going to win an Oscar for Uncut Gems,
But he did win Best Actor for
He did.
The National Board of
I don't think
Review.
the Safdie brothers are going to win Best Screenplay. So Uncut Gems, they really favored the New York kind of stuff. With Irishman winning Best Film or whatever. I don't think that it means anything, though, in the larger scheme of things. But, good for Netflix, I guess.
Okay, so The Irishman won Best Picture.
Yes.
Quentin Tarantino wins.
They split it up, yes.
Yeah, they did split it up. And I think that regardless of how you feel about the National Board of Review, I do think that Quentin Tarantino is the frontrunner to win Best Director at the Academy Awards. So that's a good one. Best Actor went to Adam Sandler for Uncut Gems, which is awesome. But yeah, I think that he's lucky if he gets nominated. But I could be wrong.
He's
Best
fighting
Actress,
for a slot, yeah.
Renee Zellweger. I feel like it's going to be Renee in every Best Actress race for every critics group and every award leading up to the Academy Awards.
Yeah, it's a 2-horse race for Best Actress. Same with Best Actor to me.
Well, who's the second?
I think the Marriage Story leads in both sides. I think it's between Scarlett Johansson and Renee Zellweger, and it's between Adam Driver and Joaquin Phoenix.
For sure. And Best Supporting Actor went to Brad Pitt for Once Upon a Time. He was our front runner for Best Actor.
I'm happy about that one.
Yeah, I'm happy about that too. And I love Supporting Actress. They went with Kathy Bates for Richard Jewell, which is a movie that is just starting to be seen by Guild members and voters, and she is magnificent in the film.
I saw it just a few nights ago. I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
She's very good in it. She really only gets one big scene, but we're going to be talking about this category later, so we'll come back to her.
Okay, well, also the Gotham Awards were announced in New York, along with the New York Film Critics Circle. But for the Gotham Awards, Netflix really won big here with 4 wins for Marriage Story, including Best Picture, Best Actor for Adam Driver, Best Screenplay for Noah Baumbach, and the Audience Award. So again, how does the Gotham Awards? I mean, again, it's one of the first awards, so I feel like it's getting more press attention than it would maybe a month from now.
Yeah, I just like who votes for these Gotham Awards. Hustlers was nominated for Best Feature. Like, I really enjoyed Hustlers. Best Feature? Come on. Am I supposed to take these things seriously? I was happy for the director of The Mustang, Lord de Clermont-Tonnerre.
That was a good one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just got to say, ladies and gentlemen, like, the glass is half empty and the glass is half full. That's what I love about Sneider and Mantz here. We are just real contrarians, but respect each other's opinions. At least I hope we do. Anyway.
Yes, of course.
Moving on to the New York Film Critics Circle, back to The Irishman, but their best director went to Uncut Gems for Benny and Josh Safdie.
I mean, go
ahead.
Again, a good movie. I liked Uncut Gems. I don't think it reached the same highs as Good Time, although I thought it was a better overall film. So they're very promising filmmakers, but I don't think that they're really in the Oscar discussion. I will say that I was very happy to see Joe Pesci win Best Supporting Actor because this Al Pacino talk, it's crazy. It's insane. Joe Pesci is definitely better than Al Pacino in The Irishman.
See, I disagree. I disagree. I think having Joe Pesci in the film is great, but his performance is such a polar opposite from Goodfellas and Casino that I felt like Pacino should be the one to sort of be one of the two favorites in addition to Brad Pitt for Best Supporting Actor for Once Upon a Time. But they went with the New York Film Critics Circle went with Best Actor for Antonio Banderas for Pain and Glory, who I think does have a very, very good chance at an Oscar nom for Best Actor. I told you,
conventional wisdom has him in that fifth slot, but maybe we're even underestimating him. Maybe he's in that third or fourth slot. I don't know.
And the amazing Perry Nemiroff is going to be very, very happy to hear that Lupita Nyong'o did win Best Actress for Us. Whether or not that means anything in the long run, again, we don't know.
See my eyes roll into the back of my head on that one?
I don't know. Okay, like you said, Best Supporting Actor, Joe Pesci. Best Supporting Actress went to Laura Dern for both Marriage Story and Little Women. And that is just a
What is that about? Can you not decide? Just give it to her for Marriage Story.
Well, we might. And that's going to be our conversation coming up. But before we get to that, ladies and gentlemen, we had a very, very big week here at Collider FYC because we're having, in addition to the one this coming Saturday for Rocketman, 3 screenings, our first 3 screenings for the Collider FYC screening series with our partners at Arclight. I got to moderate the first one on Monday, December 2nd for Knives Out, and this was after Knives Out doubled, and I mean doubled expectations at the box office, making $42 million over the 5-day Thanksgiving frame. It's a great film. It's a fun movie, and it could see some nominations both at the Golden Globes and at the Academy Awards. But I got to moderate a Q&A with film composer Nathan Johnson, who did the scores for 4 out of 5 movies that Rian Johnson directed. Of course, the 5th one was John Williams for Star Wars The Last Jedi. And also joining us was writer, director, producer Rian Johnson. And here's just a tip of the iceberg for a really, really great conversation, the rest of which we'll post tomorrow here on Collider Video, but check out some of it right now. One of the things that struck me about this movie is that the centerpiece scene of this movie really is between Anna and Christopher Plummer. And Christopher Plummer, 89, he could run laps around everybody in this room. He's amazing. And Anna she held her own with this guy. And she held her own with this, cast. She stood out so strongly. So what was it like casting her, and what surprised you about her, and especially the scenes that she did with Chris Plummer?
Yeah, Anna de Armas. I can't say enough about Anna de Armas. She's incredible. And she's, she was in Denis Blade Runner film,
49,
and she was terrific in that, and she's done good work in other films, but I feel like you're about to see a lot more of her. She's really incredible. And for her, you're right, absolutely right, Scott, for her to, first of all, Christopher Plummer and Anna, that scene in the middle of what's a very arch movie, to have to be given the task of having to land this very central scene where the emotional element of it kind of needs to land or the whole movie won't work. And for both of them to pull that off is extraordinary. And you're right, for Anna to be able to, because, this is an all-star cast. It is like we went set out with the intent of let's fill this up with really fun movie stars who we'll enjoy seeing on the screen. And they're all incredibly talented actors, and they're all giving huge performances. And for Anna to be able to step into the center of that with the confidence that she did and really carry the movie to a large extent on her shoulders, I just think is extraordinary. I think Anna's just kind of amazing. Yeah.
How big was the orchestra when you composed the score, and where did you record it?
So we recorded with a 62-piece orchestra in Studio One at Abbey Road. Which was mind-blowing.
Amazing.
I remember when Ryan and I were in like junior high school, we photoshopped ourselves sitting on a broken down car in the back of that Beatles record. If you had told us
yesterday and today?
You had told us that we would be recording there. And then we did the opening string quartet in the Beatles room in Studio 2. It was phenomenal.
It was absurd. And this is Nathan's first time working with a full orchestra. This is his first score where he's like, yeah, give it up. Oh, yeah.
Bravo. Those guys are great, and you can catch the entire interview tomorrow on Collider Video. And once again, this coming Saturday, December 7th, Rocket Man will be playing at the Arclight Cinema in Hollywood, followed by a Q&A with director Dexter Fletcher and Taron Egerton and Jamie Bell, and it's going to be moderated. It's going to be moderated by the amazing Perry Nemiroff. She's going to have a great time. This is a great crew, and do not miss the energy of this screening. If you haven't seen Rocket Man yet, or if you've seen it and want to see it again, there's no better place to see any movie than the Arclight Cinemas in Hollywood. I'm not just saying that because they are our sponsor, because the Arclight is my happy place. Okay, Jeff, let's move on. Let's get to the business at hand with the category that we are here to discuss and debate and dissect and devour today here on Collider FYC, which is Best Supporting Actress. So let's start with one. I always find let's start with the blocks, get those out of the way, and then really get into the good discussion here.
I think Laura Dern for Marriage Story is a lock. I just don't see how you overlook that performance. She is just kind of a bolt of lightning in this movie, and I love her energy in it. And she has this narrative as an actress that I think is going to culminate in this nomination. Something like Little Women, which I know was mentioned earlier, and they gave it to her for that as well. It's the sort of movie that bolsters a nomination, the same way The Report is going to bolster Adam Driver's Marriage Story nomination. So I just don't see any scenario in which she misses the cut.
I mean, Laura Dern in Marriage Story, and by the way, this is a film where every performance is gold. The screenplay by Noah Baumbach is an actor's dream, that you have Alan Alda, Ray Liotta, who's not really in the film for that much, yet he makes every scene, every word count because he's so strong. And that's definitely the case with Laura Dern, who I think I would say she kind of steals the movie in this. I actually don't like to use those words, steal the movie.
Oh, okay.
But in this case, she does, because she is so good. I mean, she is a wolf in sheep's clothing, an attorney for Scarlett Johansson's character, that a divorce attorney who, even when Scarlett says, I don't want to, do anything bad, I don't want to hurt the guy, she's like, yeah, you got to look out for yourself, right. Okay? She manipulates Scarlett to turn on the husband that she's maybe divorcing, but she still loves and cares about him. And she is fantastic in this film. She's, she is a two-time Oscar nominee. Her first one goes back to 1992 for Rambling Rose, and then she was nominated for Supporting Actress for Wild from 2014. She won 4 Golden Globes, and she was Miss Golden Globe back in 1982.
Wow, yeah, she's Hollywood royalty, obviously.
Hollywood royalty.
And listen, people loved her in Big Little Lies, and I think that she's almost like I know there's a little boy at the center of this story, but she's almost like the third lead of this film, because Adam Driver's character has 2 attorneys, Alan Alda and Ray Liotta, so she kind of benefits from that extra screen time.
But
as well.
Yeah, she Big Little Lies.
She makes the most out of it.
She's an Emmy winner for Big Little Lies, 4-time Golden Globe winner, 2-time Oscar nominee. This is her time. Yes, she's due, but even if she wasn't due, this could have been her very first performance, and I would say that her performance is strong enough that she deserves.
So do you think she's the front runner?
I think she is the front runner.
And did she take home any of these awards that we discussed earlier?
Well, she won best from the New York Film Critics gave her supporting actress.
Right.
And actually, wait a minute, hang on, I'll go back here.
Right. Kathy Bates won one.
Yeah, right. Okay. That's right. That's right. Okay, so moving on to number 2. Who's your number 2?
My number 2 is still Jennifer Lopez for Hustlers. I just think she makes a meal out of this character, and it's fun. And best supporting actor typically would nominate this kind of performance. Someone who just kind of comes in and I know you don't like to use the term, but steals the movie. Show. Yeah, I just think Jennifer Lopez is a really good actress, but we haven't seen her be this good since probably Out of Sight or Selena, the early J-Lo days. This is the perfect character for her, and she hit it out of the park. I don't see how she gets overlooked.
I agree. The movie came out in September, and I remember when it premiered at the Toronto Film Festival at the Roy Thompson Hall. The energy in the room, I swear, I thought the roof was going to just get blown off the theater. It was incredible. But yes, I agree. This is Jennifer Lopez's best film, her best performance in a movie since 1998's Out of Sight, and of course Selena from '96 was her breakthrough in a feature. But it's also, when you look at her film career, people love Maid in Manhattan, but her film career hasn't exactly been the best. But what makes this role the best is it plays to every single one of her strengths. She is a strong person. She is incredibly sexy at 50 years old, and she really takes advantage of just such a meaty, juicy role.
You know what this is? This is Tom Cruise in Magnolia.
Perfect.
It really kind of is.
Yeah, it is.
She has for years been demanding, I got to be the star. It's got to be built around me. And she takes these kind of rom-com vehicles that are kind of forgettable. And for once, she sort of cedes the show to somebody else and gets to be the lightning bolt, so to speak. And yeah, she was great.
By the way, Tom Cruise in Magnolia 20 years ago. He hasn't done a Magnolia since.
Right. Who knows if Jennifer Lopez will do this again, or if after this she's going to want to be the big star again. The other thing is, this whole award season needs a little bit more diversity.
Oh, no question.
There are going to be a lot of white acting nominees again. And so Jennifer Lopez is the little flash of color that we need.
When I was thinking about FYC in the last couple of weeks that we were doing our, prepping for each one of our shows, and definitely after the conversations that we all had, you, me, and Perry, and when John Roca sat in with us in that one time for a best actor or best actress, or was it best actor? Anyway, I started thinking about how there is a very strong possibility that we could get through 20 acting nominations and not have diversity.
I don't think that will be the case this year. Whether it's Antonio Banderas or someone that we may be talking about later in this program, I don't think it's going to be an 0 for 20.
I hope so. I hope you're right, but it is a possibility, because I do think that whether or not there is diversity in the acting nominees, there's not going to be enough of it.
Again, the Academy invited a lot of people of color, a lot more women into the fold this year, and I think that. You will start. You may not see it in the Best Picture category, but you will see that reflected in the acting nominees.
Well, let's move on. Who's your number 3?
My number 3 is someone who could come out of nowhere and steal this thing, and that's Florence Pugh. For Little Women, which I still have not seen, but everyone is coming out of Little Women raving about her performance. She's had an incredible year, from Fighting with My Family to Midsommar to this film. She just has. I think up-and-comers, rising stars, it's easier to be nominated in the Best Actress or Best Supporting Actress categories. Men, they kind of make you pay your dues a little bit. And so I think she is kind of this year's hot up-and-coming shooting star.
Completely. I think 2019 is the year of Florence Pugh, and she started the year with Fighting with My Family. She's kind of ending the year with a different version of Fighting with My Family in Little Women. But she does steal. I've seen Little Women, and she does kind of, again, all right, I guess I got to actually like this term, but she does steal the movie. I mean, after Saoirse Ronan's lead performance, it is Florence Pugh's supporting performance that really does stand out. And because, I mean, everyone, I just know that on our YouTube comments and people chime in on Best Actress, you know, we didn't mention Florence Pugh, or maybe we did, but briefly, but because the movie is such a disturbing film.
Right, yes.
You know,
there were a lot of comments. Why didn't you guys mention Florence Pugh for Midsommar? I don't think that movie is Academy material in the same way I don't really think The Lighthouse is either.
But look, remember what was the movie with Toni Collette?
Right, everybody wanted that one too. I thought she was great in that movie,
but snubbed.
Exactly.
She was snubbed, right.
I think she will be snubbed in the Best Actress category, but they will make it up to her here. I think she's going to get in. She's also in Black Widow, which just dropped a trailer this week. People like what they saw there.
Oh, yeah.
She may be positioned to be the new Black Widow in the MCU going forward.
So yeah, you want to break some news here, buddy?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, I have Florence Pugh as my number 5. So we're in agreement so far. So who is your number 4?
My number 4 is someone who I thought this woman was great, and I don't see her on that many prediction lists, and it's Shuzhen Zhao from The Farewell.
Oh, she's my number 4.
Oh, great! Yeah, she was wonderful. The Farewell is one of my top 5 movies of the year. I thought it was fantastic, and I don't know, maybe it's just because I have, I love my grandmother and cherish her so much. You just want to pinch this woman's cheeks.
Yeah, she
needs to be there.
Well, she, without her, The Farewell doesn't happen. I mean, she's a supporting actress, but it is her first feature film. She's also in a TV series called The Story of Ming Lan, and because she is a first timer, there's something about her performance, in addition to the film itself, that feels so authentic and genuine and real and organic. And she's adorable in this movie. And I agree. I think that she will. I mean, she's my number 4. She's your number 3.
But here's the thing. So she's not really around, right? She's not making the rounds. She's not really doing a ton of press. It feels like to me in the last week or two, I've seen and felt an Awkwafina surge. Like she is the performer in this movie that should or could be recognized. But
Awkwafina did win Best Actress at the Gotham
Awards. As good as I thought Awkwafina was, and I thought she was very good, I think that Shuzhen Zhao really delivered the film's standout performance, and she even stole the lines in the trailer. Like she was funny, she was warm. The end of the movie where there's a little twist. I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't seen it, but it brings a tear to your eye, and I just thought she was wonderful.
The thing about the Oscars is that every once in a while you have a scenario where a newcomer or a first timer gets nominated. Look at Jennifer Hudson for Dreamgirls. When Lupita Nyong'o won her Oscar for supporting actress for Us back in 2004, I think Catalina Sandina Moreno was I think she won or was nominated, or she won for Maria Full of Grace. Did she win that?
Did she win an Oscar?
Yeah, no. Maria Full of Grace. She didn't win.
She didn't win an Oscar.
Okay,
no.
She didn't win an Oscar for that.
Rinko Kikuchi was nominated for Babel. Remember that?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Whether it's her, Roberto Benigni, it's this kind of performance. I think because I don't know that anyone from Parasite is getting nominated.
Oh well,
I think that maybe
Kang Ho should. But.
She could. Someone from Parasite could surprise. But I think if there's an Asian performer this year, it's going to be Shuzhen Zhao.
Well, I agree completely. We haven't mentioned. I just want to throw out the person on my list who you have not mentioned is Margot Robbie. Margot Robbie is my number 3.
Well, we're not done. Okay. So Margot Robbie. Well, let's have this conversation.
Okay.
So tell me.
On your list.
No, she's not.
She's not. Okay.
She's not. And I know that people people are going to say, well, how could you not have Margot Robbie on your list? I want to get into that, but first I want to hear why you think she is going
because she is the heart of Bombshell. The scene where her character at Fox News, who is not based on a single real character, but sort of a few of them. They just made it into one person. The scene in Bombshell, and I don't want to say what the scene is because I don't want to spoil it, but there is a scene in Bombshell where she is with Roger Ailes, played by John Lithgow, that
I don't think that's a spoiler. I think we know what's going to happen in the scene, Mantz.
Okay, well, she
gets sexually harassed.
Use your imagination. Okay, all right. But anyway, the scene where that she does have with Roger Ailes is the best scene in the movie, and I feel like she's the heart of the film. The movie sort of plays out, Bombshell. I think it's a very good movie, but it plays out a little bit like a procedural in some ways. So I feel like, when it comes to a standout, sort of the face of the movie, I think the face of the movie isn't necessarily Charlize as Megyn Kelly, although she'll get nominated for sure. I think the face of the film really is Margot Robbie's character. She shows more emotion than her co-stars in this movie. All right.
Here's the thing. I thought Margot Robbie was great, but I thought she was good. And I thought that Charlize was very good. But I thought Nicole Kidman was great. I thought Nicole Kidman was the best one in this movie. I think she has the trickiest role to play as Gretchen Carlson. She doesn't get to do the transformation like Charlize with the makeup where it's like, oh my God, I'm watching Megyn Kelly. And she doesn't have the scene where she, is sexually harassed by Roger Ailes and it's sickening to watch and stomach churning. But just because there's a scene, right, that is sickening and stomach churning, doesn't necessarily. I think you could really plug in almost any actress and ask her to do the same thing that Margot Robbie does, and I don't think it really changes the movie, the performance, the role, whatever it is. I think you could stick anybody in there, even a non-professional actress, and you would get the same stomach-churning results because of what happens in the scene. Now, just because you're victimized...
Wait a minute. Hang on a minute.
What?
Okay, first of all, you can't just put anybody in that role.
What do you mean? If you put Anne Hathaway in that performance and ask her to lift her skirt in front of her boss, I think you will feel the same emotions.
But it takes a talent to be able to convey those feelings in an organic
and she's
real
good.
And raw and effective way. And I think that Margot Robbie does that.
I've seen her in I, Tonya, and her performance in I, Tonya is incredible. She should have won the Oscar for that.
She was great in that movie, yep.
And it just blew this out of the water. This movie, the other thing is I'm biased, is because this movie's a mess. This movie, Bombshell, everyone who says that they've liked it, I go, did you see the Roger Ailes series on Showtime? They say no. Inevitably, across the board, no one has said, yeah, I saw the series and I thought Bombshell was better. It doesn't happen.
That's
it doesn't
the series
exist.
With Russell Crowe, right?
Yes.
Russell Crowe is Roger Ailes.
The stuff that they put Lori Loon through in that show, that is stomach churning. That will make you feel something, okay? This movie is a mess of tones. And I really think that Robbie could end up splitting the vote with Nicole Kidman and they could cancel each other out. I just wasn't that impressed by it.
Okay, I didn't think the movie was a mess, but I also didn't think it was a masterpiece. I think it's a middle-of-the-road film. I think the subject matter is important, and I think that I thought it was a fascinating film to unfold and to watch it unfold. And I think that some of the performances, Charlize and Margot and John Lithgow as Roger Ailes, are all terrific. The makeup, the hair and the makeup, especially for Megyn Kelly.
Tell me about Nicole, Mantz. What did you think of Nicole Kidman? Why is she just not in the conversation all this year? This is an Oscar-winning actress.
She's not in the conversation.
Why?
For this film, because all the conversation has been going towards Megyn Kelly, Charlize Theron as Megyn Kelly, and Margot Robbie. Yes, they're splitting the vote, but actually that could mean that Nicole gets nominated. So is Nicole fifth on your list?
No, she's not. I think that in my head, these two cancel each other out. I think that Nicole will have her fans and Margot will have her fans, and it won't be enough to get either one of them in because there are a bunch of people here, a bunch of different contenders.
I think Margot gets nominated. I think she gets nominated.
It's totally possible. I know I'm in the minority on this.
I'm not convinced that Bombshell gets a Best Picture nomination. Yeah, I know you don't think it should because you've made your point. But I think that there are definitely better films. And I think that if it did get a Best Picture nomination, it would be more because of the subject matter. I think it's a very, very good film. I was into it. I was following it along. I thought Jay Roach he directed the film in the same sort of way that he directed Recount about the 2000 presidential election.
I.e. like a TV movie.
And, well, yeah, a little. But I still liked it a lot. But I thought Charlize and Margot were terrific.
Who wants to watch this? Who is going to watch women be sexually harassed over the Christmas holidays? Mm-hmm. Is this a movie you bring the whole family to? I think that they waited too long for this. They played hide and seek too long. I don't like the release date. I don't think it's going to do well at the box office. No.
Wow. Okay.
Terrible marketing campaign too. They throw a Billie Eilish song over the trailer. I haven't been a fan of anything I've seen out of Bombshell, except for Nicole Kidman, who does great work.
Unbelievable. All right, who's number 5 on your list?
Number 5 is Kathy Bates for Richard Jewell.
Okay.
Who I thought, she's Kathy Bates. She's one of the best actresses in the world. She's
an Oscar winner.
She's very good in Richard Jewell. There's not that much there for her, but she does get one killer scene. And as we all know, all it takes is one killer scene to get nominated. Kathy Bates, she hits that scene out of the park. I think we've all done things in our lives that I'm like, what is my mother going to think of me? And her reaction to the way that the media and the government comes down on her son, it is heartbreaking to watch.
No, I agree. She's magnificent in the film, and she was definitely. I feel like she's my number 6 slot. But I also have Scarlett Johansson for Jojo Rabbit. Most people.
She's on your top 5.
She's in my honorable mentions.
Okay. Yeah.
Now we're in honorable
those.
mentions.
Yeah.
Scarlett Johansson, I just felt like the scenes and her with Roman David Griffiths, who plays her son in the film, were really touching. And more people are talking about her lead performance in Marriage Story, but I really thought that she was superb in Jojo Rabbit as well. Maybe she ends up being a double nominee.
She could be a dual nominee, absolutely. I thought Scarlett Johansson was excellent in Jojo Rabbit. The only reason I really didn't predict her is because the same thing as Bombshell, Thomasin McKenzie is great in Jojo Rabbit. I think she was wonderful.
She's terrific.
And it's tough for me to pick one over the other. And if Scarlett's already getting a nomination for sure for Marriage Story, I could just see them sort of spreading the love and going with somebody else like a Shuzhen Zhao.
All right, who else is on your honorable mentions?
There really aren't that many. I do think that one of the women from Parasite has the potential to surprise. I saw Just Mercy. I don't really think Brie Larson is a contender at all, but I think that she should probably be mentioned as a former Best Actress winner.
You never know. You might see Maggie Smith get nominated for Downton Abbey.
This is actually a surprise I could get behind. I didn't see Downton Abbey. I've never seen an episode. But the movie did really well.
Movie's very, very good, whether you've seen the series or not. I've watched a few episodes here and there, and I watched the last season just to prep for the film, and I found the film that actually really does stand on its own. Of course, it helps if you've watched it and loved it, but Maggie Smith was terrific in the film, and sort of the send-off that they give her in the movie is really just sort of wraps the entire series up with a bow. I think that she's deserving, and it could happen. Annette Bening in The Report.
Never going to happen.
Not going to happen.
Not happening, guys.
Okay, has anyone seen The Report? I mean, I saw it. Did you see it? I mean, has anyone
She's
out there?
fine. She's Annette Bening. She's always good. This isn't the kind of thing that gets her a nomination. Playing Diane Feinstein? Get out of here.
What about, I know I've said this before. Don't hate me. Don't hate me, and don't, hate on the comments below. Don't think I'm crazy, because no one has seen this movie yet. I'm just saying. Even though we've seen wait. Even though we've seen 2 trailers for this, movie, and the first one was a little weird, the second one was a little better. We just don't know. We just don't know what is in store for Cats. Okay, just wait.
That's where you were going with this?
Cats.
Whoa.
Cats. Just wait. You don't know. Isn't Judi Dench in this movie?
Yeah.
Okay, Judi Dench is an Oscar
winner. So is Jennifer Hudson. So is she.
Also an Oscar winner. Jennifer Hudson could get nominated for supporting. Judi Dench could get nominated for supporting actress. Taylor friggin' Swift could get nominated for supporting actress.
Stop.
I know.
Mantz.
Wait.
Stop.
I'm just saying. Wait. No one has seen this movie. I'm just throwing it out there. It is the last movie of this award season that either could be a contender for the Oscars, or it could be a major contender for the Razzies. We just don't know, and we won't know. The movie opens, Christmas Day? I can't wait to see it, because I really hope that the glasses half full person in me is rewarded by being the eternal optimist. And then you're going to be like, Mantz, you were right, Cats was a good movie. But I could say, you know what, Jeff, you were right, Cats is a piece of cat poo. I don't know. I just don't know.
I honestly don't have any big opinions about Cats. I don't know whether it'll be good or bad. I thought you were going in a totally different direction with what you're about to say. I'm going to tell you in 1 second. First, I'm going to mention Divine Joy Randolph from Dolomite Is My Name.
Oh, yeah.
There are a lot of people getting behind that performance.
As they should.
I mean, I didn't love Dolomite like most others did. It was entertaining. It was good. I don't really think of it as an Oscar movie. But here's where I thought you were going with that.
Okay.
Because you're talking about movies that haven't been seen. And I was like, well, everything's kind of been seen, Scott. And then you said Cats. And I was like, oh, I was totally forgetting about that because I don't think of it as an awards film. Star Wars. Star Wars has not been seen. And there is someone in this film who could be a supporting actress contender. And that is the late Carrie Fisher.
Wait a minute. Okay, you think I'm crazy because I went with Cats because for a movie that legitimately could be actually be really, really good, and I feel like Universal's sort of like keeping it on the DL because I think maybe they know they have something good on their hands and they just want to be like, told you so. But Carrie Fisher getting nominated for Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker.
Why not?
Well, maybe because she's only probably going to be in it for a little bit, and it's
Didn't Judi Dench get nominated for like a scene for Shakespeare in Love?
Yeah,
and did she win or something?
Still going to be it was a
maybe Carrie Fisher has the scene in Star Wars that breaks your heart, that sends you out of the theater crying, that brings the whole saga together for you.
Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker at all under the circumstances makes me feel like people are going to walk out of that movie, very emotional for many reasons because it is the last Star Wars movie in the Luke Skywalker saga or the Skywalker saga.
Maybe Kelly Marie. I don't know how much screen time Kelly Marie Tran has as Rose Tico, but maybe she's great. I don't know. I'm just saying I will take my Star Wars actresses over your Cats actresses any day.
Okay, I will take my Cats actresses over Star Wars just because I don't see When was the last time a Star Wars movie had an acting nomination?
I've been saying that since Force Awakens. I was the guy who was like, Force Awakens could get a Best Picture nomination if it's good. You never know. Last Jedi, same thing. And I'm going to do it again for this because it is the end. And look how they nominated and went for Return of the King or whatever it is.
I see Avengers Endgame getting nominated for Best Picture over Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. Because, I mean, what Avengers Endgame did, and the fact that it just was such a great movie on its own, it's the crowning achievement of the MCU. I've talked about this elsewhere, including a show we just did on the Oscar prospects of Avengers Endgame.
What if this is the crowning achievement of the Star Wars thing?
Well, we don't know that yet. We haven't seen the film. Just like we haven't seen Cats. Just like we haven't seen Cats.
You're right. I will retract the clause.
And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, I am by no means saying that I'm more of a Cats person than a Star Wars person because I'm very much a Star Wars person in addition to being a Star Trek person. But I'm just saying we haven't seen these movies. We haven't seen them. So to dismiss Cats because the trailer didn't float your boat is wrong.
Are you angling for a moderating gig on Cats? Is that what you're doing here, man?
I'm not. I'm just saying, but I hope I get one. But I just think that the potential for us to be pleasantly surprised by Cats is very strong, and I hope that happens. And everyone watching Collider FYC these last few weeks will come back to me and say, Mantz, man, you were right. I would love for that to happen. But
do we want to make a bet, Mantz?
Do you want to make a bet? Do you want to make a bet? No.
You don't want to make a bet with me right now.
Wait a minute.
You got to see it first.
If we're going to make a bet, we're going to go back to Margot Robbie. I think Margot Robbie gets nominated over Kathy Bates. I think our top five are Laura Dern, Jennifer Lopez, Zhao Shuzhen, Florence Pugh, and Margot Robbie.
Listen, I will live with that. I don't want to make that bet because I do think I am in the minority on Bombshell. But I am very curious how the general public reacts to this movie. I want to see how it opens box office wise. And yeah.
Also, listen, if there's a chance for someone to get bumped for Kathy Bates, I think that person would actually be Florence Pugh. Even though she's having a great year, and even though Little Women is a film that transcends the source material, it's very contemporary, very relatable today, even though it takes place in the time, and it's a well written, it's a well directed. Every performance is great. The production design, the costumes, all of it. But I feel like Margot is a lock for a nomination over Florence.
So you think Shuzhen Zhao though is in?
I think Shuzhen Zhao, yeah.
Okay, so let's run down our top five and wrap up this episode.
Okay,
so we think Laura Dern is one.
Absolutely.
Who is two? Is it Jennifer Lopez?
Jennifer Lopez, yep.
For the purposes of this, Shuzhen Zhao is now three.
Yes, correct.
So your other two are Robbie and who? Pugh and Bates or Pugh or Bates?
My other two are Robbie and Pugh.
And I have Pugh and Bates.
Right.
Okay. I will live with the official FYC, including Robbie, over Bates.
Okay. All right. So then the top five are Laura Dern, for Marriage Story, Jennifer Lopez for Hustlers, Shuzhen Zhao for The Farewell, Margot Robbie for Bombshell, and Florence Pugh for Little Women.
Okay.
You're down with that?
I think Pugh should be over Robbie, though.
You think, okay, well, regardless.
Sight unseen.
These are five. As long as these five get nominated.
Those are the five. But yeah, keep an eye on Kathy Bates.
Okay, these are the five. These are the five, according to Collider FYC, for supporting actress. Wow, this was
I wish Perry was here.
I know. We really need Perry. We really need Perry. And I just feel so bad for her. She's covering the Star Wars Rise of Skywalker junket. Oh, that poor woman. Oh, my God. How could she deal with it? But it's okay. She'll be back next time.
We did the best we could, Mantz.
We did the best we could. We got some very strong nominations. I feel like Perry would agree with most, if not all of them. But regardless, once again, we do want to thank our sponsor at Arclight Cinema. And once again, want to mention that our screening this coming Saturday, December 7th for Rocket Man with director Dexter Fletcher and co-stars Taron Egerton and Jamie Bell. That Q&A will be moderated by the amazing Perry Numeroff. So go online and get your tickets while they're hot. The Arclight in Hollywood, the only place left to see this movie on the big screen. And please do it if you have not seen Rocket Man. It's fantastic. Jeff? Wow, that was fun.
We did it, baby.
We did it, baby. We got it. We have a lot to get through next week because next week on Monday, you got the Golden Globe nominations. And then on Wednesday, you got the SAG Award nominations. Plus, whatever category we do next week, it's going to be a very jam-packed week. So please join the mighty Jeff Sneider, the amazing Perry Numeroff, this guy, Scott Movie Mantz, here on Collider FYC. And make sure you share the show with everyone. Make sure you share the podcast version with everyone. Make sure you comment and review and let us know what you think. Hit me up on Twitter at Movie Mantz. You could hit this guy up at
the Sneider.
And until next time on Collider FYC, see you later.